welcome to today's live video. So we are reading from Genesis to Revelation in case you don't know. And currently at Judges. I stopped at Judges 20 yesterday. Started from Judges 21 today. So before we start, let's say our Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us these days our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Our Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, as it is in heaven. Okay, that's what I said before. Alright, since I've let's continue this reading as usual. Judges chapter 21. Wives for the tribe of Benjamin. When the Israelites has gathered at Mizpah, they have made a solemn promise to the Lord. None of us will allow a Benjaminite to marry a daughter of ours. So now the people of Israel went to Bethel and sat there in the presence of God until evening. Loudly and bitterly they mourned. Lord God of Israel, why had this happened? Why is the tribe of Benjamin about to disappear from Israel? The early morning, the people built an altar there, offered fellowship sacrifice, and burned some sacrifice wood. They asked, is there any group out of all the tribe of Israel that did not go to the gathering in the Lord's presence? At Mizpah, they had taken a solemn oath that anyone who had not gone to Mizpah would be put to death. The people of Israel felt sorry for their brothers and Benjaminites and said, today Israel has lost one of its tribe. What shall we do to provide wives for the men of Benjamin who are left? We have made a solemn promise to the Lord that we will not give them any of our daughters. When they asked if there was some group out of the tribe of Israel that had not gone to the gathering at Mizpah, they found out that no one from Gabish in Gilead has been there. At the roll call of the army, no one from Gabish has responded. So the assembly sent 12,000 of their bravest men with the orders, go and kill everyone in Gabish, including the women and children. Kill all the maids and also every woman who is not a virgin. Among the people in Gabish, they found 400 young virgins, so they brought them to the camp at Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. Then the whole assembly sent word to the Benjaminites who were at the rock of Ramah and offered to end the war. The Benjaminites came back, and the other Israelites gave them the girls from the Gabish whom they have not killed, but there were not enough of them. The people felt sorry for Benjaminites because the Lord has broken the unity of the tribe of Israel. So the leaders of the gathering said, there are no more women in the tribe of Benjamin. What shall we do to provide wives for the men who are left? Israel must not lose one of his 12 tribes. We must find a way for the tribe of Benjamin to survive. But we could not allow them to marry our daughters, because we have put a curse on any one of us who would allow a Benjaminite to marry one of our daughters. Then they thought, the yearly festival of the Lord at Shiloh is coming soon. Shiloh is north of Bethel, south of Lebanon, and east of the road between Bethel and Shittim. They said to the Benjaminites, "Go and hide in the vineyard and watch. When the guest of Shiloh comes out to dance during the festival, you come out of the vineyard. Each of you take a wife by force from among the guests and take her back to the territory of Benjamin with you. If your father or brothers come to you and protest, you can say, 'Please let us keep them, because we do not take them from you in battle to be our wives. And since you did not give them to us, you are not guilty of breaking your promise.' The Benjaminites did this. Each of them chose a wife from the guests who were dancing at Shiloh and carried her away. Then they went back to their own territory, rebuilt their towns, and lived there. At the same time, the rest of the Israelites left, and every man went back to his and family and to his own property. There was no king in Israel at the time. Everyone did just as he pleased. We are through with Judges. Now let's continue with Ruth, the book of Ruth. So, chapter 1, Ruth chapter 1. Okay, Elimelech and his family moved to Moab. Long ago, in the days before Israel had a king, there was a famine in the land. So a man named Elimelech who belongs to the clan of Ephrath and who lived in Bethlehem in Judah, went with his wife Naomi and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, to live for a while in the country of Moab. While they were living there, Elimelech died, and Naomi was left alone with her 2 sons, who married Moabite girls, Orpah and Ruth. About 10 years later, Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left all alone, without husband or sons. Naomi and Ruth returned to Bethlehem. Some time later, Naomi heard that the Lord has blessed his people by giving them a good harvest. So she got ready to leave Moab with her daughter-in-law. They started out together to go back to Judea. But on the way, she said to them, "Go back home and stay with your mothers. May the Lord be as good to you as you have been to me, and to those who have died, and may the Lord make it possible for each of you to marry again and have a home." So Naomi kissed them goodbye, but they started crying and said to her, "No, we will go with you to your people. You must go back, my daughters." Naomi answered, "Why do you want to come with me? Do you think do you do you think I could have sons again for you to marry? Go back home, for I am too old to get married again." Even if I thought there was still hope, and so got married tonight and have sons, Will you wait until they have grown up? Will this keep you from marrying someone else? No, my daughters, you know that is impossible. The Lord has turned against me, and I felt very sorry for you. Again, they started crying. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye and went back home. But Ruth held on to her. So Naomi said to her, Ruth, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her God. Go back home with her. But Ruth answered, don't ask me to leave you. Let me go with you. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die, and that is where I will be buried. May the Lord's may the Lord's worst punishment come upon me if I let anything but death separate me from you. When Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she said nothing more. They went on until they came to Bethlehem, where when they arrived the whole town got excited, and the women there exclaimed, is that really Naomi? Okay, is this really Naomi? Don't call me Naomi, she answered. Call me Mara, because Almighty God have made my life bitter. When I left here, I have plenty, but the Lord have brought me back without eating. Why call me Naomi when the Lord Almighty condemned me and sent me trouble? This, then, was how Naomi came back from Moab with Ruth, her Moabite daughter-in-law. The barley harvest was just beginning when they arrived in Bethlehem. Ruth chapter 2. Ruth walked in the field of Boaz. Naomi had a relative neighbor Ruth walked in the field of Boaz. Naomi had a relative named Boaz, a rich and influential man who belongs to the family of her husband Elimelech. One day Ruth said to Naomi, let me go to the field to gather the corn that the harvest workers leave. I am sure to find someone who will let me work with him. Naomi answered, go ahead, my daughter. So Ruth went out to the field and walked behind the workers, picking up the corn which they left. It so happened that she was in a field that belongs to Boaz. Some time later, Boaz himself arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the workers. The Lord be with you, he said. The Lord bless you, they answered. Boaz asked the man in charge, who is that young woman? The man answered, she is the foreign girl who came back from Moab with Naomi. She asked me to let her follow the workers and pick up the corn. She had been working since early morning and have just now stopped to rest for a while under the shelter. Then Boaz said to Ruth, let me give you some advice. Don't pick up corn anywhere except in this field. Work with these women here. Watch them to see where they are reaping and stay with them. I have ordered my men not to molest you, and whenever you are thirsty, go and drink from the water jars that they have filled. Ruth bowed down with her face touching the ground and said to Boaz, why should you be so kind to a foreigner? Boaz answered, I have heard about everything that you have done for your mother-in-law. Since your husband died, I know how you left your father and mother and your own country and how You came to live among a people you had never known before. May the Lord reward what you have done. May you have a full reward from God of Israel, to whom you have come for protection. Ruth answered, "You are very kind to me, sir. You have made me feel better by speaking gently to me, even though I'm not the equal of one of your servants." At mealtime, Boaz said to Ruth, "Come and have a piece of bread and dip it in the sauce." So she sat with the workers, and Boaz passed some roasted grain to her. She ate until she was satisfied, and she still had some food left over. After she had left to go on picking up the coin, Boaz ordered the workers, "Let her pick it up even where the bundles are lying, and don't say anything to stop her. Besides that, pull out some coin from the bundle and leave it for her to pick up." So Ruth went on gathering corn in, in the field until evening, and when she had beaten it out, she found she had nearly 10 kilograms. She took the coin back into town and showed her mother-in-law how how much she had gathered. She also gave her the food left over from the meal. Naomi asked her, "Where did you gather all this?" May God may God bless the man who took an interest. Okay. Whose field have you been working in? May God bless the man who took an interest in you. Ruth told Naomi that he had been working in a field belonging to a man named Boaz. Boaz. May the Lord bless Boaz. Naomi exclaimed, "The Lord always keeps his promise to the living and the dead." And she went on, "That man is a close relative of ours, one of those responsible for taking care of us." Then Ruth said, "Best of all, he told me to keep picking up corn with his workers until they finish the harvest." Naomi said to Ruth, "Yes, my daughter, it will be better for you to work with the women in Boaz's field. You must be molested if you went to someone else's field." So Ruth worked with them and gathered corn until all the barley and wheat had been harvested, and she continued to live with her mother-in-law. Ruth chapter 3. Ruth finds a husband. Some time later, Naomi said to Ruth, "I must find a husband for you, so that you will have a home of your own. Remember that this man, Boaz, whose women you have been working with, is our relative. Now listen, this evening he will be stretching the barley. So wash your hands, wash yourselves, put on some perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then, then go where he is stretching. I'll be stretching. But don't let him know you are there until you have finished eating and drinking. Be sure to notice where he lies down, and after he falls asleep, go and lift the covers and lie down at his feet. He will tell you what to do." Ruth answered, I will do I will do everything you say." Wow. So Ruth went to the stretching place and did just what her mother-in-law had told her. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking and was in a good mood, he went to the pile of barley and lay down to sleep. Ruth okay. Ruth slipped over quietly, lifted the cover and lay down at his feet. During the night, he woke up suddenly, turned over, and was surprised to find a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "It is Ruth, sir," she answered. "Because you are a close relative, you are responsible for taking care of me, so please marry me." Hmm? "The Lord bless you," he said. "You are showing even greater family loyalty in what you are doing now than in what you did for your mother-in-law. You might have gone looking for a young man, a that rich or poor, but you did not. Now, don't worry, Ruth, and I will do everything you ask. As everyone in town knows, you are a fine woman. It is true that I am a close relative and I am responsible for you, but there is a man who is a closer relative than I am. Stay here and rest of the night, and in the morning I will find out whether or not he will take responsibility for you. If so, well and good. If not, then I swear by the living God that I will take the responsibility. Now lie down and stay here till morning." So she lay there at his feet, but she got up before it was light enough for her to be seen, because Boaz did not want anyone to know that she has been there. Boaz said to her, "Take off your cloak and spread it out here." She did, and he poured out nearly 20 kilograms of barley and helped her to put it on her shoulder. Then she returned to the town with it. When she arrived home, her mother-in-law asked her, "How did you get on, my daughter?" Ruth told her everything that Boaz had done for her. She added, "He told me I must not come back to you empty-handed, so he gave me all this barley." Naomi said to her, "Now be patient, Ruth, until you see how this all turned out. Boaz will not rest today until he settles the matter." Boaz married Ruth. Ruth chapter 4. Boaz went to the meeting place at the town gate and sat down there. Then Elimelech's nearest relative, the man whom Boaz had mentioned, came by, and Boaz called to him, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he went over and sat down. Then Boaz told God's 10 of the leaders of the town and asked them to sit down there too. When they were seated, he said to his relative, "Now that Naomi have come back from Moab, she wants to sell the field that belongs to our relative Elimelech, and I think you ought to know about it. Now, then, if you want it, buy it in the presence of these men sitting here. But if you don't want it, say so, because the right to buy it belongs first to you and then to me." The man said, "I will buy it." Boaz said, "Very well, but if you buy the field from Naomi, then you are also buying Ruth, the Moabite widow, so that the field will stay in the dead man's family." The man answered, "In that case, I will give up my right to buy the field, because it will mean that my own children will not inherit it. You buy it, I would rather not." Now, in those days, to settle a sale or an exchange of property, it was the custom for the seller to take off his sandals and give it to the buyer. In this way, the Israelites shows that the matter was settled. So when the man said to Boaz, "You buy it," he took off his sandal and gave it to Boaz. Then Boaz said to the leaders and all the others there, "You are all witnesses today that I have bought from Naomi everything that belongs to Elimelech and to his sons Chilion and Mahlon. In addition, Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, becomes my wife. This will keep the property in the dead man's family, and his family line will continue among his people and in his town. You are witnesses of this today." The leaders and others said, "Yes, we are witnesses. May the Lord make your wife become like Rachel and Leah, who bore many children to Jacob. May you become rich in the clay of Ephrath and famous in Bethlehem. May the children that the Lord will give you by this young woman make your family like the family of Perez, the son of Judah, and Tamar." Boaz and his descendants. So Boaz took Ruth home as his wife. The Lord blessed her, and she became pregnant and had a son. The woman said to Naomi, "Praise the Lord. He has given you a grandson today. It will take care of you. May the boy become famous in Israel. Your daughter-in-law loves you and has done more for you than 7 sons. And now she has given you a grandson, whom will bring new life to you and give you security in your old age." Naomi took the child, held him close, and took care of him. The women of the neighborhood named the boy Obed. They told everyone, "A son has been born to Naomi." Obed became the father of Jesse, who was the father of David. Okay, this is the family line from Perez to David. Perez, Hezron, Ram, Aminadab, Nahshon, Salmon, Boaz, Obed, Jesse, and David. So this is the end of Ruth. Actually, I didn't know that Ruth was this short. The chapters are very short. So let's continue from Samuel. I'm very happy to do. Samuel chapter 1. Elkanah and his family at Shiloh. There was a man named Elkanah from the tribe of Ephraim of Ramah in the hill country of Ephraim. He was the son of Jeroham and Jehu, and belongs to the family of Tuhu, a part of the clan of Zophi. Elkanah has two wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah has children, but Hannah had none. Every year, Elkanah went from Ramah to worship and offer sacrifice to the Lord Almighty at Shiloh. Hophni and Phinehas, the two sons of Eli, were priests of the Lord. Each time Elkanah offered his sacrifice, he would give one share of the meat to Peninnah and one share to each of her children. And even though he loved Hannah very much, he would give her only one share because the Lord had kept her from having children. Peninnah, her rival, would torment and humiliate her because the Lord had kept her childless. This went on years after years. Whenever they went to the house of the Lord, Peninnah would upset Hannah so much that she would cry and refuse to eat anything. Her husband Elkanah would ask her, "Hannah, why are you crying? Why won't you eat? Why are you always so sad? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons?" Hannah and Eli. One day, after they had finished their meal in the house of the Lord at Shiloh, Hannah got up. She was deeply distressed, and she cried bitterly as she prayed to the Lord. Meanwhile, Eli the prince was sitting in his place by the door. Hannah made a solemn promise. "Almighty Lord, look at me, your servant. See my trouble and remember me. Don't forget me. If you give me a son, I promise that I will dedicate him to you for his whole life, and that he will never have his hair cut." Hannah continued to pray to the Lord for a long time, and Eli watched her lips. She was praying silently. Her lips were moving, but she made no sound. So Ellie thought that she was drunk and said to her, "Stop making a drunken show of yourself. Stop your drinking and sober up." "Now, I am not drunk, sir." "Okay, no, I am not drunk, sir," she answered. "I have not been drinking. I am desperate. I have been praying, pouring out my trouble to the Lord. Don't think I am a worthless woman. I have I have been praying like this because I'm so miserable." "Go in peace," Eli said, "and may the God of Israel give you what you have asked him for. May you always think kindly of me," she replied. Then she went away, ate some food, and was no longer sad. Samuel's birth and dedication. The next morning, Elkanah and his family got up early, and after worshiping the Lord, they went back home to Ramah. Elkanah has intercourse with his wife Hannah, and the Lord answered her prayer. So it was that she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel and explained, "I asked the Lord for him." The time came again for Elkanah and his wife family to go to Shiloh and offer to the Lord the yearly sacrifice and special sacrifice he had promised. But this time Hannah did not go. She told her husband, "As soon as the child is weaned, I will take him to the house of the Lord, where he will stay all his life." Elkanah answered, "All right, do whatever you think best. Stay at home until you have weaned him, and may the Lord make your promise come true." So Hannah stayed at home and nursed her child. After she had weaned him, she took him to Shiloh, taking taking along a 3 years old bull, 10 kilograms of flour, of wine. She took Samuel, young as he was, to the house of the Lord at Shiloh. After they had killed the bull, they took the child to Eli. Hannah said to him, "Excuse me, sir, do you remember me? I am the woman you saw standing here praying to the Lord. I asked him for this child, and he gave me what I asked for. So I am dedicating him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he will belong to the Lord." Then they worshiped the Lord there. Samuel chapter 2, Hannah's prayer. Hannah prayed, "The Lord hath filled my heart with joy. How happy I am because of what he hath done. I laugh at my enemies. How joyful I am because God has helped me. No one is holy like the Lord. There is none like him. No protector like our God. Stop your loud boasting. Silence your proud words. For the Lord is a God who knows, and he judges all that people do. The bows of strong soldiers are broken, but the weak grow strong. The people who once were fed now hire themselves out to get food, but the hungry are hungry no more. The childless wife has borne 7 children, but the mother of many is left with none. The Lord kills and restores to life. He sends people to the world of dead and brings them back again. He makes some men poor and others rich. He humbles some and makes others great. He lifts the poor from the dust and raises needy from their misery. He makes them companions of princes and puts them in places of honor. The foundations of the earth belong to the Lord. On them he hath built the world. He protects the lives of his faithful people, but the wicked disappear in darkness. A man does not triumph by himself. The Lord, the Lord's enemy will be destroyed. He will thunder against them from heaven. The Lord enemy, okay. The Lord will judge the whole world. He will give power to his kings. He will make his chosen king victorious. Then Elkanah went back home to Ramah, but the boy Samuel stayed in Shiloh and served the Lord under the prince Eli. The sons of Eli. The sons of Eli were scoundrels. They paid no attention to the Lord or to the regulations concerning what the prince could demand from the people. Instead, when a man was offering his sacrifice, the prince's servant would come with a three-pronged fork while the meat was still cooking. He would stick the fork into the cooking pot, and whatever the fork brought out belongs to the prince. All the Israelites who came to Shiloh to offer sacrifice were treated like this. In addition, even before the fat was taken off and burnt, the prince's servant would come and say to the man offering the sacrifice, "Give me some meat for the prince to roast." He won't, he won't accept boiled meat from you, only raw meat. Hmm. If the man answered, "Let me do what is right and burn the fat first, then take what you want," the prince's servant would say, "No, give it to me now. If you don't, I will have to take it by force." This sin of the sons of Eli was extremely serious in the Lord's sight, because they treated the offering to the Lord with such disrespect. Okay, disrespect. Samuel at Shiloh. In the meantime, the boy Samuel continued to serve the Lord, wearing a sacred lining apron. Each year, his mother would make a little robe and take it to him when she accompanied her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. Then he would bless Elkanah and his wife, and said to Elkanah, "May the Lord give you other children by this woman to take the place of the one you dedicated to him." After that, they would go back home. The Lord did bless Hannah, and she had 3 more sons and 2 daughters. The boy Samuel grew up in the service of the Lord. Okay, the Lord blessed Hannah, and she had 3 more sons and 2 daughters, which is 6 in total. Eli and his sons. Eli was not very old. He kept hearing about everything his sons were doing to the Israelites, and that they were even sleeping with the women who work at the entrance to the tent of the Lord's presence. So he said to them, "Why are you doing these things? Everybody tells me about the evil you are doing. Stop it, my sons. This is an awful thing the people of the Lord are talking about. If a man sin against another man, God can defend him. But who can defend a man who sins against God?" But they did not listen to their father, for the Lord had decided to kill them. The boy Samuel continued to grow and to gain favor both with the Lord and with men. The prophecy against Eli's family. A prophet came to Eli with this message from the Lord. "When your ancestors Aaron and his family were slaves of the king of Egypt, I revealed myself to Aaron. From all the tribe of Israel I chose his family to be my prince. So to serve at the altar, to burn the incense, and to wear the ephod, to consult me. And I gave them the right to keep a share of the sacrifice burnt on the altar. Why then do you look with greed at the sacrifice and the offerings which I require from my people? Why, Eli, do you honor your sons more than me by letting them fatten themselves on the best part of all the sacrifice my people offer to me? I, the Lord God of Israel, promised in the past that your family and your claim would serve me as prince for all time. But now I saw that I won't have it any longer. Instead, I will honor those who honor me, and I will treat with contempt those who despise me. Listen, the time is coming when I will kill all the young men coming in your family and your clan, so that no man in your family will live to be old. You will be troubled and look with envy on all the blessings I will give to the other people of Israel, but no one in your family will ever again live to old age. Yet I will keep one of your descendants alive, and he will serve me as prince, but he will become blind and lose all hope, and all your other descendants will die a violent death. When your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, both die on the same day, this will show you that everything I have said will come true. I will choose a prince who will be faithful to me and do everything I want him to do. I will give him descendants who will always serve in the presence of my chosen king. Any of your descendants who survive will have to go to that prince and ask him for money and food, beg to be allowed to help the prince in order to have something to eat. First Samuel chapter 3. The Lord appeared to Samuel. In those days, when the boy Samuel was serving the Lord under the direction of Eli, there were very few messages from the Lord, and visions from him were quite rare. One night, Eli, who was now almost blind, was sleeping in his own room. Samuel was sleeping in the sanctuary, where the sacred covenant was. Before dawn, while the lamp was still burning, the Lord called Samuel. He answered, "Yes, sir," and ran to Eli and said, "You called me, and here I am." But Eli answered, "I did not call you. Go back to bed." So Samuel went back to bed. The Lord called Samuel again. The boy did not know that it was the Lord, because the Lord had never spoken to him before. So he got up, went to Eli, and said, "You called me, here I am." But Eli answered, "My son, I did not call you. Go back to bed." The Lord called Samuel a third time. He got up, went to Eli, and said, "You called me, and here I am." Then Eli realized that it was the Lord who was calling the boy. So he said to him, "Go back to bed, and if he called you again, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went back to bed. The Lord came and stood there and called as he had before, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel answered, "Speak, your servant is listening." The Lord said to him, Someday I'm going to do something to the people of Israel that is so terrible that everyone who hears about it will be stoned. On that day, I will carry out all my threats against Eli's family. From beginning to end, I have always told him that I am going to punish his family forever because his sons have spoken evil thing against me. Eli knew they were doing this, but he did not stop them. So I solemnly declared to the family of Eli that no, no sacrifice or offering will ever be able to remove the consequences of these terrible sins. Samuel stayed in bed until morning. Then he got up and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. He was afraid to tell Eli about the vision. Eli called him, "Samuel, my boy." "Yes, sir," he answered. Samuel. "What did the Lord tell you?" Eli asked. "Don't keep anything from me. God will punish you severely if you don't tell me everything," he said. So Samuel told him everything. He did not keep anything back. Eli said, "He is the Lord. He will do whatever seems best to him." As Samuel grew up, the Lord was with him and made everything that Samuel said come true. So all the people of Israel from one end of the country to the other knew that Samuel was indeed a prophet of the Lord. The Lord continued to reveal himself at Shiloh, where he had appeared to Samuel and had spoken to him. And when Samuel spoke, all Israel listened. 1 Samuel chapter 4. The capture of the covenant boss. At the time, the Philistines gathered to go to war against Israel, so the Israelites set out to fight them. The Israelites set up their camp at Ebenezer and the Philistines at Apke. The Philistines attacked, and after fierce fighting, they defeated the Israelites and killed about 4,000 men on the battlefield. When the survivors came back to camp, the leaders of Israel said, "Why did the Lord let the Philistines defeat us today? Let's go and bring the Lord's covenant boss from Shiloh, so, so that he will go with us and save us from our enemies." So they sent messengers to Shiloh and fetched the covenant boss of the Lord Almighty, who is enthroned above the winged creature. And Eli's two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, came along with the covenant boss. When the covenant boss arrived, the Israelites gave such a loud shout of joy that the earth shook. The Philistines heard the shouting and said, "Listen to all that shouting in the Hebrew camp. What does it mean?" When they found out that the Lord's covenant boss had arrived in the Hebrews' camp, they were afraid and said, "A God have come into the camp. We are lost. Nothing like this have ever happened to us before. Who can save us from those powerful gods? They are the gods who slaughtered the Egyptians in the desert. Be brave, Philistine. Fight like men, or we will become slaves to the Hebrews, just as they were our slaves. So fight like men." The Philistines fought hard and defeated the Israelites, who went running to their homes. There was a great slaughter. 30,000 Israelite soldiers were killed. God's covenant boss was captured, and Eli's son Hophni and Phinehas were both killed. The death of Eli. A man from the tribe of Benjamin ran all the way from battlefield to Israel, to Shiloh and arrived there the same day to show his grief. He had torn his clothes and put earth on his head. Eli, who was very anxious about the covenant boss, was sitting on a seat beside the road, staring. The man spread the news throughout the town, and everyone cried out in fear. Eli heard the noise and asked, "What's all this noise about?" The man hurried to Eli to tell him the news. Eli was now 98 years old and almost completely blind. The man said, "I have escaped from the battle and have run all the way here today." Eli asked him, "What happened, my son?" The messenger answered, "Israel ran away from the Philistines. It was a terrible, terrible defeat for us. Besides that, your sons Hophni and Phinehas were killed and the God's covenant boss was captured." When the man mentioned the covenant boss, Eli fell backward from beside the gate. He was so old and fat that the fall broke his neck, and he died. He had been a leader in Israel for 40 years. The death of the widow of Phinehas, Eli's daughter, Eli. Eli's daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, was pregnant, and it was almost time for her baby to be born. When she heard that God's covenant boss had been captured and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she suddenly went into labor and gave birth. As she was dying, the woman, the women helping her, okay, the women helping her said to her, "You have a son." But she paid no attention and did not answer. She named the boy Ichabod, explaining God's glory has left Israel, referring to the capture of the covenant boss and the death of her father-in-law and her husband. God's glory has left Israel, she said, because God's covenant boss has been captured. First Samuel chapter 5. The covenant boss among Philistines. After the Philistines captured the covenant boss, they carried it from Ebenezer to their city of Ashdod, took it into the temple of their god Dagon, and set it up beside his statue. Early next morning, the people of Ashdod saw that the statue of Dagon has fallen face downward on the ground in front of the Lord's covenant boss. So they lifted it up and put it back in its place. Early the following morning, they saw that the statue has again fallen down in front of the covenant boss. This time, its head and both its arms were broken off and were lying in the doorway. Only the body was left. That is why even today, the prince of Dagon and all his worshippers in Ashdod step over that place and do not walk on it. The Lord punished the people of Ashdod severely and terrified them. He punished them and the people in the surrounding territory by causing them to have demons. When they saw what was happening, they said, "The Lord of Israel is punishing us and our gods Dagon. We can't let the covenant boss stay here." So they sent messengers and called together all five of all five of the Philistine kings and asked them, "What shall we do with the covenant boss of the God of Israel?" "Take it over to Gath," they answered. So they took it to Gath, another Philistine city. But after it arrived there, the Lord punished that city too and caused a great panic. He punished them with tumors, which developed in all the people of the city, young, old alike. So they sent the covenant boss to Ekron, another Philistine city. But when he came, the people cried out, "They have brought the covenant boss of the God of Israel here in order to kill us all." So again they sent for all the Philistine kings and said, "Send the covenant boss to Israel back to its own place, so that it won't kill us and our family." There was panic throughout the city because God was punishing them so severely. Even those who did not die developed tumors, and the people cried out to their gods for help. First Samuel chapter 6. The return of the covenant boss. After the Lord's covenant boss had been in Philistia for 7 months, the people called the prince and the magician and asked, "What shall we do with the boss of the Lord? If we send it back where it belongs, what shall we send with it?" They answered, "If you return the covenant bust of the Lord, of the God of Israel, you must of course send it with a gift to him to pay to pay for your sin. The covenant bust must not go back without a gift. In this way you will be healed, and you will find out why he has kept on punishing you. What gifts shall we send him?" The people asked. They answered, 5 gold models of tumors and 5 gold mice, one for each Philistine king. The same pledges was sent on all of you and on the 5 kings. You must make these models of the tumor and of the mice that are ravaging your country, and give honor to the God of Israel. Perhaps he will stop punishing you, your gods and your land. Why should you be stubborn, as the king of Egypt and the Egyptians were? Don't forget how God made fools of them until they let the Israelites leave Egypt. So prepare a new wagon and 2 cows that have never been yoked. Hitch them to the wagon and drive their calf back to the barn. Take the Lord's covenant box, put it on the wagon, and place in a box beside it the gold models that you are sending to him as a gift to pay for your sins. Start the wagon on its way and let it go by itself. Then watch it go. If it goes towards the town of Beth-Shemesh, this means that it is the Lord of Israel who has sent this terrible disaster on us. But if it does not, then we will know that he did not send the pledges. It was only a matter of chance. They did what they were told. They took 2 cows and hitched them to the wagon and shut the calves in the barn. They put the covenant box in the wagon, together with the box containing the gold models of the mice and of the tumors. The cows started off on the road to Shemesh and headed straight towards it, without turning off the road. They were mowing as they went. The 5 Philistine kings followed them as far as the border of Beth-Shemesh. The people of Beth-Shemesh were harvesting in the valley when suddenly they looked up and saw the covenant box. They were overjoyed at the sight. The wagon came to a field belonging to a man named Joshua, who lived in Beth-Shemesh, and it stopped there near a large rock. The people chopped up the wounded wagon and killed the cows and offered them as a burnt offering to the Lord. The Levites lifted up the covenant box of the Lord and the box with the gold models in it, and placed them on the edge rock. Then the people of Beth-Shemesh offered burnt offerings and other sacrifices to the Lord. The 5 Philistine kings watched them do this, and then went back to Ekron that same day. Philistines sent 5 goat tumors to the Lord as a gift to pay for their sins, one each for cities of Ashdod, Gaza, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. They also sent gold mice, one for each of the cities ruled by the 5 Philistine kings, both the fortified towns and the villages without wall. The large rock in the field of Joshua of Beth-Shemesh, on which they placed the Lord's covenant box, is still there as a witness to what happened. The Lord killed 70 of the men of Beth-Shemesh because they looked inside the covenant box, and the people mourned because the Lord had caused such a great slaughter among them. The covenant box at Kiriath-Jearim. So the men of Beth-Shemesh said, "Who can stand before the Lord, this holy God? Where can we send him to get away from us? They sent messengers to the people of Kiriath Jearim to say, the Philistines have returned the Lord's covenant boss. Come down and fetch it. First Samuel chapter 7. So the people of Kiriath Jearim fetched the Lord's covenant boss and took it to the house of a man named Abinadab, who lived on a hill. They consecrated his son Eleazar to be in charge of it. Samuel rules Israel. The covenant boss of the Lord stayed in Kiriath Jearim a long time, some 20 years. During this time, all the Israelites cried to the Lord for help. Samuel said to the people of Israel, if you are going to turn to the Lord with all your heart, you must get rid of all the foreign gods and the images of the goddess Ashtaroth. Dedicate yourself completely to the Lord and worship only Him. He will rescue you from the power of the Philistines. So the Israelites got rid of their idols of Baal and Ashtaroth and worshiped only the Lord. Then Samuel sent for all the Israelites to meet at Mizpah, saying, I will pray to the Lord for you there. So they all gathered at Mizpah. They drew some water and poured it out as an offering to the Lord, and fasted that whole day. They said, we have sinned against the Lord. It was at Mizpah that Samuel settled disputes among the Israelites. When the Philistines heard that the Israelites have gathered at Mizpah, the 5 Philistines kings started out with their men to attack them. The Israelites heard about it and were afraid, and said to Samuel, keep praying to the Lord our God to save us from the Philistines. Samuel killed a young lamb and burned it whole as a sacrifice to the Lord. Then he prayed to the Lord to help Israel. And the Lord answered his prayer. While Samuel was offering the sacrifice, the Philistines moved west to attack. But just then, the Lord thundered from heaven. But just then, the Lord thundered from heaven against them. They became completely confused and fled in panic. The Israelites marched out from Mizpah and pursued the Philistines almost as far as Beth-kar along the way. Then Samuel took a stone, set it up between Mizpah and Shen, and said, the Lord has helped us all the way, and he named it Stone of Help. So the Philistines were defeated, and the Lord prevented them from invading Israel's territory as long as Samuel lived. All the cities which the Philistines have captured between Ekron and Gath were returned to Israel. And so Israel got back all its territory. And there was peace also between the Israelites and the Canaanites. Samuel ruled Israel as long as he lived. Every year he would go round to Bethel, Gilgal, and Mizpah, and in these places he would settle disputes. Then he would go back to his home in Ramah, where also he would serve as judge. In Ramah he built an altar to the Lord. First Samuel chapter 8. The people asked for a king. When Samuel grew old, he made his sons judge in Israel. The eldest son was named Joel, and the younger one Abijah. They were judges in Beersheba, but they did not follow their father's example. They, they were interested only in making money, so they accepted bribes and did not decide cases honestly. Then all the leaders of Israel met together, went to Samuel in Ramah, and said to him, look, you are getting old and your sons don't follow your example. So then, appoint a king to rule over us, so that we will have a king as other countries do. Okay, as other countries have. Samuel was displeased with their request for a king. As oth- so he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said, listen to everything the people say to you. You are not the one they have rejected. I am the one they have rejected as their king. Ever since I brought them out of Egypt, they have turned away from me and worshipped other gods. And now they are doing to you what they have always done to me. So then, listen to them, but give them strict warning, and explain how their kings will treat them. Samuel told the people who were asking him for a king everything that the Lord had said to him. This is how your king will treat you. Samuel explained. He will make soldiers of your sons. Some of them will serve in his war chariots, others in his cavalry, and others will run before his chariots. And others will he will make some of them officers in charge of 1,000 men, and others in charge of 50 men. Your sons will have to plough his field, harvest his crops, and make his weapons, and the equipment for his chariots. Your daughters will have to make perfume for him, work as his cook and his bakers. He will take your best field, vineyards, and groves, and give them to his officers. He will take a tenth of your corn and of your grapes for his court officers and other officers. He will take your servants and your best cattle and donkeys and make them work for them. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that time comes, you will complain bitterly because of your king, whom you yourself choose, but the Lord will not listen to your complaint. The people paid no attention to Samuel, but said, no, we want a king, so so that we will be like other nations, with our own king to rule us and to lead us out to war, to fight our battles. Samuel listened to everything they said and then went and told the Lord. The Lord answered, do what they want and give them a king. Then Samuel told all the men of Israel to go back home. 1 Samuel chapter 9. Saul met Samuel. There was a wealthy and influential man named Kish from the tribe of Benjamin. He was the son of Abi and grandson of Zerah, and belongs to the family of Bechorat, a part of the clan of Afla. Afla. He had a son named Saul, a handsome man in the prime of his life. Saul was a head taller than anyone else in Israel and more handsome as well. Some donkeys belonging to Kish had wandered off, so he said to Saul, take one of the servants with you and go and look for the donkeys. They went through the hill country of Ephraim and the region of Shalisha, but did not find them. So they went on through the region of Shalim, but the donkeys were not there. Then they went through the territory of Benjamin, but still did not find them. When they came into the region of Zoph, Saul said to his servant, let's go back home, or my father might stop thinking about the donkey and start worrying about us. The servant answered, wait, he is a holy man who is highly respected because everything he says comes true. Let's go. Wait, it's okay. The servant answered, "Wait, in this town there is a holy man who is highly respected because everything he says comes true. Let's go to him and maybe he can tell us where we can find the donkeys." "If we go to him, what can we give him?" Saul asked. "There is no food left in our packs, and we have not anything to give him, have we?" The servant answered, "I have a small silver coin. I can give him that, and then he will tell us where we can find them." Saul replied, "A good idea. Let's go." So they went to the town where the holy man lived. As they were going up the hill to the town, they met some girls who were coming out to draw water. They asked the girls, Is the seer in town?" At that time, a prophet was called a seer, and whenever someone wanted to ask God a question, he would say, "Let's go to the seer." "Yes, he is," the girls answered. "In fact, he's just ahead of you. If you hurry, you will catch up with him. As soon as you go into the town, you will find him. He arrived in town today. People are going to offer sacrifice on the altar on the hill. The people who are invited will not start eating until he gets there, because he has to bless the sacrifice first. If you go now, you will find him before he goes up the hill to eat." So Saul and his servants went onto the town, and as they were going in, they saw Samuel coming out towards them on his way to the place of worship. Now on the previous day, the Lord had said to Samuel, "Tomorrow about this time I will send you a man from the tribe of Benjamin. Anoint him as ruler of my people Israel, and he will rescue them from the Philistines. I have seen the suffering of my people and have heard their cry for help." When Samuel caught sight of Saul, the Lord said to Samuel, "This is the man I told you about. He will rule my people." Then Saul went over to Samuel, who was near the gate, and asked, "Tell me, where does the seer live?" Samuel answered, "I am the seer. Go ahead of me to the place of worship. Both of you are to eat with me today. Tomorrow morning I will answer all your questions and send you on your way. As for the donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, don't worry about them. They have already been found. But who is it that the people of Israel want so much? It is you and your family, your father's family." Saul answered, "I belong to the tribe of Benjamin, the smallest tribe in Israel, and my family is the least important one in the tribe. Why then do you talk like this to me?" Then Samuel led Saul and his servant into the large room and gave them a place at the head of the table, where the guests, about 30 in all were seated. Samuel said to the cook, "Bring the piece of meat I gave you, which I told you to set aside." So the cook brought the choice piece of the leg and placed it before Saul. Samuel said, "Look here in the piece that was kept for you. Eat it. I saved it for you to eat at this time with the people I invited." Saul ate with Samuel that day. When they went down from the place of worship to the town, they made up a bed for Saul on the roof, and he slept there. Samuel anointed Saul as ruler. At dawn, Samuel called to Saul on the roof, "Get up, and I will send you on your way." Saul got up, and he and Samuel went out to the streets together. Together, together. When they arrived at the edge of the town, Samuel said to Saul, "Tell the servant to go on ahead of us." The servant left. Samuel continued, "Stay here a minute and I will tell you what God said." First Samuel chapter 10. Then Samuel took a jar of olive oil and poured it on Samuel's head, kissed him, and said, "The Lord anoints you as ruler of his people Israel. You will rule his people and protect them from all their enemies. And this is the proof to you that the Lord hath chosen you to be the ruler of his people. When you leave me today, you will meet two men near Rachel's tomb at Ziza, in the territory of Benjamin. They will tell you that the donkey you were looking for have been found, so that your father worried any more about them but about you." And he kept asking, "What shall I do about my son?" You will go on from there until you come to the sacred tree at Tabor, where you will meet three men on their way to offer sacrifice to God at Bethel. One of them will be leading 3 young goats, another one will be carrying 3 loaves of bread, and the third one will have a leather bag full of wine. They will greet you and offer you 2 of the loaves, which you have to accept. Then you will go to the hill of God in Gibeah, where there is a Philistine camp. At the entrance of the town you will meet a group of prophets coming down from the altar on the hill, playing harps, drums and flutes, and lyres. They will be dancing and shouting. Suddenly, the Spirit of God will take control of you, and you will join in their religious dancing and chanting, and will become a different person. When this thing happens, do whatever God leads you to do. You will go ahead of me to Gilgal, where I will meet you and offer burnt sacrifice and fellowship sacrifice. Wait there 7 days until I come and tell you what to do." When Saul turned, no, you know what? No? Wait there. Somewhere wait. Samuel chapter 10. Eight. When Saul turned to leave Samuel, God gave Saul a new nature, and everything Samuel had told him happened that day. When Saul and his servants arrived at Gibeah, a group of prophets met him. Suddenly, the Spirit of God took control of him, and he joined in their ecstatic dancing and shouting. People who had known him before saw him doing this and asked one another, "What have happened to the son of Kish? Has Saul become a prophet?" A man who lived there asked, "How about these other prophets? Who do you think their fathers are?" This is how the saying originated. Has even Saul become a prophet? When Saul finished this ecstatic dancing and shouting, he went to the altar on the hill. Saul's uncle saw him and the servants and asked them, "Where have you been?" "Looking for the donkeys," Saul answered. "When we could not find them, we went to see Samuel." "And what did he tell you?" Saul's uncle asked. "He told us that the animals had been found," Saul answered. But he did not tell his uncle what Samuel had said about his becoming king. Saul is acclaimed as king. Samuel called the people together for a religious gathering at Mizpah and said to them, "The Lord, the God of Israel says, I brought you out of Egypt and rescued you from the Egyptians and all the other people who were oppressing you. I am your God, and I am your God, the one who rescued you from all your troubles and difficulties. But today you have rejected me and have asked me to give you a king. Very well then, gather yourself before the Lord by tribes, by clan. Then Samuel made each tribe come forward. And the Lord picked the tribe of Benjamin. Then Samuel made the family of the tribe of Benjamin come forward. And the family of Matri was picked out. Men of the family of Matri came forward, and Saul son of Kish was picked out. They looked for him, but when they could not find him, they asked the Lord, "Is there still someone else?" The Lord answered, "Saul is over there, hiding behind the supplies." So they ran and brought Saul out to the people, and they could see what he had, what, and they could see that he was a head taller than everyone else. Samuel said to the people, "Here is the man the Lord hath chosen. There is no one else among us like him." All the people shouted, "Long live the king." Samuel explained to the people the rights and duties of a king, and then wrote them down in a book, which he deposited in a holy place. Then he sent everyone home. Samuel also went back home to Gibeah. Some powerful men whose hearts God had touched went with him. Okay, Saul also went back home to Gibeah. Some powerful men whose hearts God had touched went with him. But some worthless people said, "How can this fellow do us any good?" They despised Saul and did not bring him any gifts. 1 Samuel chapter 11. Saul defeated the Amorites. About a month later, King Nahash of Ammon led his army against the town of Jabesh in the territory of Gilead and besieged it. The men of Jabesh said to Nahash, "Make a treaty with us, and we will accept you as our ruler." Nahash answered, "I will make a treaty with you on one condition. I will put out everyone's right eyes, and so bring disgrace on all Israel." The leaders of Jabesh said, "Give us 7 days to send messengers throughout the land of Israel. If no one will help us, then we will surrender to you." The messenger arrived at Gibeah, where Saul lived, and when they told the news, the people started crying in despair. Saul was just coming in from the field with his ox, and he asked, "What is wrong? Why is everyone crying?" They told him what the messengers from Jabesh have reported. When Saul heard this, the Spirit of God took control of him, and he became furious. He took 2 oxen, cut them in pieces, and sent messengers to carry the pieces throughout the land of Israel with this warning: "Whoever does not follow Saul and Samuel into battle will have this done to his ox." Of Israel were afraid of what the Lord might do, and all of them without exception came out together. Saul gathered them at Bezek. There were 300,000 from Israel and 30,000 from Judea. They said to the messengers from Jabesh, "Tell your people that before noon tomorrow they will be rescued." When the people of Jabesh received the message, they were overjoyed and said to Nahash, "Tomorrow we will surrender to you, and you can do with us whatever you wish." That night, Saul divided his men into 3 groups, and at dawn they rushed into the enemy camp and attacked the Amorites. By noon, they have slaughtered them. The survivors scatter, each man running off by himself. Then the people of Israel said to Samuel, "Where are the people who said that Saul should not be our king? Hand them over to us, and we will kill them." But Saul said, "No one will be put to death today, for this is the day the Lord rescued Israel." And Samuel said to them, "Let us all go to Gilgal and once more proclaim Saul as our king." So they all went to Gilgal, and there at the holy place they proclaimed Saul king. They offered fellowship sacrifices, and Saul and all the people of Israel celebrated the event. First Samuel chapter 12. Samuel addresses the people. Then Samuel said to the people of Israel, "I have done what you asked me to do. I have given you a king to rule you, and now you have him to lead you. As for me, I am old and gray, and my sons are with you. I have been your leader from my youth until now. Here I am. If I have done anything wrong, accuse me now in the presence of the Lord and the king he have chosen. Have I taken anybody's cow or anybody's donkey? Have I cheated or oppressed anyone? If I have done any of these things, I will pay back what I have taken." The people answered, "No, you have not cheated us or oppressed us. You have not taken anything from anyone." Samuel replied, "The Lord and the king he has chosen our witness today, that you have found me to be completely innocent." "Yes, the Lord is our witness," they answered. Samuel continued, "The Lord is the one who chose Moses and Aaron, and who brought your ancestors out of Egypt. Now stand where you are, and I will accuse you before the Lord by reminding you of all the mighty action the Lord did to save you and your ancestors. When Jacob and his family went to Egypt, and the Egyptians oppressed them, your ancestors cried to the Lord for help, and he sent Moses and Aaron, who brought them out of Egypt and settled them in this land. But the people forgot the Lord their God, and so he led the Philistines and the king of Moab and Sisera, commander of the army of the city of Hazor, fight against your ancestors and conquer them. Then they cried to the Lord for help and said, "We have sinned because we turned away from you, Lord, and worshipped the idols of Baal and Ashtaroth. Rescue us from our enemies, and we will worship you." And the Lord sent Gideon, Barak, Jephthah, and finally me. Each of us rescue you from your enemies, and you live in safety. But when you saw that King Nahash of Ammon was about to attack you, you rejected the Lord as your king and said to me, "We want a king to rule us. Now here is the king you choose. You asked for him, and now the Lord have given him to you. All will go well with you if you honor the Lord your God, serve him, listen to him, and obey his commands. And if you and your kings follow him. But if you do not listen to the Lord but disobey his commands, he will be against you and your king. So then stand where you are, and you will see the great things which the Lord is going to do. It is the dry season, is it not? But I will pray, and the Lord will send thunder and rain. When this happens, you will realize that you committed a great sin against the Lord when you asked him for a king." So Samuel prayed, and on that same day the Lord sent thunder and rain, Then all the people became afraid of the Lord and of Samuel. And they said to Samuel, "Please, sir, pray to the Lord your God for us, so that we will not die." We now realize that besides all our other sins, we have sinned by asking for a king. Don't be afraid, Samuel answered. Even though you have done such an evil thing, do not turn away from the Lord, but serve him with all your heart. Don't go after false gods. They could not help you or save you, for they are not real. The Lord has made a solemn promise, and he will not abandon you, for he has decided to make you his own people. As for me, the Lord forbid that I should sin against him by no longer praying for you. Instead, I will teach you what is good and right for you to do. Obey the Lord and serve him faithfully with all your heart. Remember that the great things he has done for you. But if you continue to sin, you and your king will be destroyed. So this is the end of today's reading because it's already morning time, 6:26 already. So Bobby, let us read Psalm 23 and Psalm 24. The Lord is my shepherd. I have everything I need. He lets me rest in field of green grass and lead me into quiet pools of fresh water. He gives me new strength. He guides me in the right path as he has promised. Even if I go through the deepest darkness, I will not be afraid, Lord. For you are with me, your shepherd rod and staff protect me. You prepare a banquet for me where all my enemies can see me. You welcome me as a honored guest and fill my cup to the brim. I know that your goodness and love will be with me all my life, and your house will be my home as long as I live. Psalm 24, the great King. The world and all that is in it belongs to the Lord. The earth and all who live on it are his. He built it on the deep waters beyond the earth, and laid its foundation in the ocean depths. Who has the right to go up the Lord's hill? Who may enter his holy temple? Those who are pure in heart and in thought, who do not worship idols or make false promises. The Lord will bless them and save them. God will declare them innocent. Such are the people who come to God, who come into the presence of God of Jacob. Fling wide the gates, open the ancient doors, and the great King will come in. Who is this great King? He is the Lord strong and mighty, the Lord victorious in battle. Fling wide the gates, open the ancient doors, and the great King will come in. Who is this great King? The triumphant Lord. He is the great King. Hallelujah. So this is the end of today's gathering. See you again tomorrow morning or this evening. Bye bye. Na, na, na.